People often say that the Sonic series is a roller coaster of quality. One game might be brilliant, the next game a disaster. But how true is that really? Which of the over 20 main series Sonic games are good and which ones are not? To find out, I asked 1,600 people to give each game a rating from 1 to 5. And today, we'll be going through the results to find out what the most and least popular Sonic games really are. But before we start, I want to quickly shout out my Patreon page. YouTube ad revenue on my videos has been pretty unstable lately, so I want to highlight another great way of supporting this channel if you're able to. For $5 a month, you get access to a monthly bonus video, plus access to my patron-only Discord server. And that $5 is more money than I'd get from a year's worth of one person watching ads on my videos. So there's zero pressure at all, but if you'd like to help keep this channel going in the long term, then Patreon's the best way to do it. Anyway, let's get on with the Sonic rankings, shall we? So, the first step of the process is to decide which Sonic games get included in the list. Unlike the Super Mario series, it's a little difficult to draw up a clear list of main series Sonic games, so I had to make some hard decisions. In the end, I've decided only to include home console Sonic games, so no 3DS versions of Sonic Generations or Lost World, and sadly, no Sonic Advance or Sonic Rush games either. I've played Sonic Rush and I really liked it, but to keep things simple in this video, I think comparing just the home console Sonic games makes things simpler. Also, I've combined Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2 on the list, along with Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles as well. So, here's the final list I settled on. If you have any problems with it, I'm sorry, it was really hard to decide which games should make the cut. But ultimately, that is what I came up with. And so, after making the list, I set to work putting together a survey using Google Forms, where I had people give each of the games a rating from 1 to 5, 1 being bad and 5 being brilliant. I also gave people the option of writing up to 5 words about each Sonic game, so that we can hopefully get some insight into why the games received the ratings that they did. And that's that. I put out the survey, and that is all. That's everything we need to talk about. No, it's not. So, I originally put out my Sonic survey in January of 2023, but before I got a chance to make a video going through the results, Sega released a new Sonic game, Sonic Superstars. Yes, I know it took like half a year to make the video, sorry. So, in November, I remade the survey, but this time including Sonic Superstars. And now, before Sega has a chance to get out another Sonic game and ruin a second survey of mine, and no, Dream Team doesn't count, I swear, let's go through the data. And in last place, 21st on the list, is Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, with a score of 1.79. Now, Sonic Boom is a rather infamous video game, and a lot of that is because of the game's rocky development history. The dev team working on Sonic Boom weren't told what platform the game was to be released for. Then, late in development, the bomb was dropped. Sonic Boom was to be a Wii U game. Now, the Wii U was significantly less powerful than the kind of console Sonic Boom's developers had been expecting, and so they had very little time to cram this big old game onto the weak little Wii U console. The results were mixed. Sonic Boom does indeed run on the Wii U, but it's full of glitches. The game's glitches are almost more famous than Sonic Boom itself. There's all kinds of little graphical bugs and mistakes. Plus, if you compare footage of the game from early trailers, it's clear that the final version of Sonic Boom had to be downgraded a lot to get it running on the Wii U. So that's one half of the story. The other issue with Sonic Boom is that it's not that fun. Like, even if everything had gone to plan, Sonic Boom still wouldn't be a great Sonic game. Instead of being about running fast, killing enemies, and collecting rings at high speed, most of Sonic Boom consists of simple and pretty dull puzzles which you complete at a slow jog, or speedrunning sections that require little to no player input. Overall, Sonic Boom is a mess. Next up, in 20th place is Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1 and 2, with a score of 2.06. Together, these two episodes make up the game Sonic 4, 14 years after the last numbered entry in the Sonic series. But unlike the cutting-edge Sonic 1, 2, and 3, Sonic 4 is a mess. The game's butt ugly, and the gameplay and level design are both so bland. It's depressing to think that this is the big follow-up to the Mega Drive masterpieces of the 90s. Upon the release of Episode 1 in 2010, Sonic fans were just completely let down by this creatively empty game. Sega did take on board this feedback, and 2 years later, when they put out Episode 2, it's clear that more thought and creativity and love was put into this second episode. But even Episode 2 is a sad echo of the 90s Sonic classics, and the planned Episode 3 never came into being. Couldn't live up to expectations, says one survey taker. Really, 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 really boring, says another. In 19th place, we have Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, better known as Sonic 06, which received a score of 2.10. Now, it's hard to know what to say about this game, which hasn't been said a million times before. Sonic 6 isn't just a broken game, it is the broken game. It's impossible to get far through Sonic 06 before encountering a variety of weird and game-breaking glitches. Plus, the game is full of agonizingly slow loading screens every time you enter a level, exit a level, or talk to an NPC. This game, more than any other Sonic game, was a victim of Sega's constant pressure on its developers to release more and more Sonic games faster and faster. And in the case of Sonic 06, those developers just weren't done making the game. Before they could finish, it was out on store shelves. And so, we ended up with the broken, bug-filled mess that is Sonic 06. A mess in every way, wrote one survey taker. Glitchy in an unplayable way, said another. And finally, loading. Right, 18th on the list is Sonic and the Secret Rings, with a rating of 2.28. Now, Secret Rings is an interesting one, because it rides the line between main series and spin-off game. You see, while Sonic 06 was in development for Xbox and PlayStation, Sega decided it was going to be too time-consuming to port the game onto Nintendo's weaker Wii system. And so, instead, a smaller team of developers put together a totally new Sonic game, that being Secret Rings. In Secret Rings, Sonic and his friends are sent to the world of the Arabian Nights. Now, this game is a fairly small-scale affair, taking only a handful of hours to beat, and from the cutscenes alone, the game's lower budget is readily apparent. Nevertheless, Secret Rings has a certain charm to it, which is unfortunately let down by the gameplay. Being an early Wii game, Secret Rings loves its motion controls, not all of which are very fun to use in the game. Combine that with Secret Rings' repetitive missions, and it's easy to see why this game's not exactly a fan favourite. Next up, in 17th place, we have Sonic Forces, with a score of 2.48. Now, Forces is one of the newer Sonic games on the list, having released in 2017. And by the year 2017, you'd think that Sega had surely gotten a clear formula for how to make an enjoyable 3D Sonic game. However, Sonic Forces proves that to be false. Scrolling through the responses all of you people wrote, there's just so many saying mid or boring. You see, while Forces might not be egregiously awful or downright broken like Boom or 06, it absolutely fails to impress. The game's story is overcomplicated, overthought, and just isn't very exciting. Gameplay too is just middle of the road. In Forces 3D levels, the game regularly yanks control out of your hands to make you watch a cutscene of Sonic running about, so that you often feel like the game doesn't trust you to play it. And in the 2D segments, Sonic's physics have somehow gone downhill even compared to the previous 3D Sonic games like Generations. These clunky character controls make even simple platforming feel like a chore to get through. And just when you start getting used to Sonic Forces and its many quirks and irritations, the game is over. Now, games don't have to be long to be good, but unfortunately, Sonic Forces is neither long nor good. Oops. 16th on the list is Shadow the Hedgehog, with a rating of 2.66. Now, I think Shadow the Hedgehog deserves a certain amount of credit, because this is certainly a game with some ambition and lots of fresh ideas. Unfortunately, none of those new ideas really work very well. Sonic's developers wanted to move away from the colourful, family-friendly image of the previous Sonic titles, instead moving in a grittier, darker, more adult direction this time around. And so, we get Shadow as protagonist, wielding a gun and repeating "damn" to show you just how edgy he is.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
But it's not just Shadow himself. This game also introduces a branching story system, which features 10 different endings and a possible 326 different routes through the game's various scenes. Shadow himself feels pretty bad to control. He's really slippery and flies off at the touch of the control stick. Not a fan, too edgy, says one person. Hedgehog with a gun, says another. Because yes, at this point the Sonic series was already building up a reputation of shaky quality games, and giving Shadow a gun was not going to fix that. Next up, in 15th place we have Sonic and the Black Knight, with a score of 2.67. Now, Black Knight is a direct sequel to The Secret Rings, which came up earlier in the list. This time, rather than being sent into the world of Arabian Nights, Sonic gets thrust into King Arthur's kingdom, where he's given a new tool, a sword. That's right, we've just done talking about Shadow and his gun, but this time, it's Sonic and a sword. If that sounds like a strange combination, well, you're not wrong. If you've ever thought, gee, it sure would be fun if mid-run Sonic would grind to a halt to start slashing enemies, well then, this is the game for you. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there are a whole lot of people in the aforementioned category, which is a shame, because this game is absolutely an improvement on Sonic and the Secret Rings in a lot of ways. It looks nicer, the super long tutorial is gone, but this game still inherits some of the fundamental control issues of its predecessor. But hey, we're definitely moving in an upward direction, and that is good to see. On to the next game. In 14th place is Sonic Lost World, with a rating of 2.83. The year is 2013, and after the success of Sonic Generations, it seemed like the Sonic series finally had a bit of a blueprint to follow with its 3D games. Which is why it's so strange that just 2 years later, Sega threw that blueprint away and instead put out Sonic Lost World, a bizarre hybrid of Mario Galaxy and, I guess, Sonic as well. But this is a remarkably un-Sonic-like Sonic game. It's slow, building up any kind of speed is a chore, and the weird Mario Galaxy-esque landforms you're running across just aren't very interesting to navigate. 3D Sonic at its best feels like a roller coaster that you, the player, get to control. But this game's no roller coaster. It's polished, it's not filled with bugs, and I guess that's enough to net Lost World 14th place. Inoffensive, but not that fun, says one person. It's literally just Sonic Galaxy and boring knockoff Mario Galaxy. At the end of the day, if you want to play Mario Galaxy, you can just go play that instead. Next up, in 13th, is Sonic Heroes, with a score of 3.18. Now, Sonic's various friends, allies, and companions had appeared in a number of previous Sonic titles, but in Sonic Heroes, those non-Sonic Sonic characters are given the spotlight more than ever before. In this game, it's by teaming up and forming different formations that you're able to get past the game's various obstacles. Your chosen trio of characters must work together, and it's this teamwork-based gameplay that divides fans. While it's not at all a bad idea, it's in the execution that things start going wrong with Sonic Heroes. Can be fun, mostly tedious, said one survey taker, and that's about right. As the game stretches on, the uninteresting level design along with the clunky controls just exacerbate how tedious switching formations again and again and again starts to feel. It's not a bad game, but Sonic Heroes had the potential to be even better. In 12th place, we have Sonic CD, with a rating of 3.22. Now, the history of Sonic CD is pretty interesting. After Sonic 1 was finished, most of that game's developers moved to America and began working on a sequel over there, which became Sonic 2. Meanwhile, a different group of Sega developers in Japan were tasked with bringing a Sonic game to Sega's new Mega Drive upgrade, the Mega CD, aka Sega CD. This new Sonic game started out as a port of the original Sonic the Hedgehog, but over time it evolved into a totally new thing of its own, and that is the thing that hit store shelves under the title of Sonic the Hedgehog CD. Now, because of that slightly complex history, Sonic CD is a pretty weird game. Its main gameplay innovation is time travel. Each level has 4 possible versions: the present, the past, the good future, and the bad future. And all of those different possibilities mean that no matter how many times you replay a level, it feels totally new and fresh. Sonic CD's art is gorgeous, and so is its music. Plus, to show off the capabilities of their new CD add-on, Sega included a beautifully animated opening movie, and those opening movies have become something of a Sonic staple in recent years. So, Sonic CD feels like the black sheep of the Sonic series, especially amongst the games that surrounded it. But standing out is certainly not a bad thing. Next, 11th on the list is the original Sonic the Hedgehog, with a rating of 3.29. Now, Sonic 1 is the game that started this Sonic phenomenon, and the game still holds up to this day. Not to compare Mario and Sonic, but for me, the original Sonic the Hedgehog holds up much better than the original Super Mario Bros. Does. Sonic 1 is super polished, with beautiful graphics and near flawless feeling physics, which, until recently, modern Sonic games had never managed to quite replicate properly. This game birthed the world of Sonic with rings, Chaos Emeralds, special stages, and beautiful rolling green hills. And of course, the character Dr. Robotnik and Sonic himself. Whilst the gameplay ideas introduced in Sonic 1 might have been expanded upon and polished up a little in the games that followed it, Sonic 1 is still a brilliant, joyful game that's as much fun to play in the year 2023 as it was in the 1990s. Alright, we're down to the top 10, and in 10th place is Sonic Unleashed, netting a score of 3.48. Now, in a lot of ways, Sonic Unleashed is an excellent Sonic game. After years of Sonic games being kind of a mess, filled with bugs and not even fun to play in spite of that, with Unleashed, Sega completely turned things around. Running through Unleashed's stunning day levels feels similar in a way to speeding through those classic Mega Drive levels. The spectacle of it all is really impressive, and the level design lets you just have fun. These are great, and if that's all Sonic Unleashed consisted of, then we would be done here. However, you all know there's a big caveat here. Because while half of Unleashed is fantastic day levels, the other half is boring night levels. In these sections, you play as Sonic's werehog form, and instead of speedrunning your way through levels, you slowly, tediously punch your way through waves of enemies. Never has one half of a game dragged the other half down in the way that the werehog levels do to the rest of Sonic Unleashed. Half great, half boring, says one commenter. Wonky to control werehog, says another. If Unleashed was just day levels, I think it would be higher up on the list. But hey, 10th certainly ain't bad. Next up, in 9th place is Sonic Colors, rated 3.527. Now, as the game that followed Sonic Unleashed, Colors feels like that game's natural successor. The addictive, fast-paced speedrunning levels from Unleashed make a return in this game, albeit with some tweaks and changes. Plus, like Unleashed, Colors is also split between 2 gameplay styles, but instead of Unleashed's dull, frustrating brawler levels, Colors instead features classic 2D gameplay. Now, granted, the physics of Sonic Colors' 2D sections are certainly not on the level of Sonic 1, 2, or 3, but these 2D sections are still vastly more enjoyable than the werehog sections of Unleashed. The main critique this game receives is that the split between 2D and 3D isn't exactly equal. You end up playing a lot more of the game in 2D, when the 3D sections are where Colors excels. Still, Colors is a polished, well-designed Sonic game, which makes a real change from a lot of the games we've talked about so far. Next on the list, in 8th place, is Sonic Superstars, which just barely beats Colors with a score of 3.535. Now, as the most recent game on the list, I'm not sure the dust has quite settled around Superstars. People are still forming their opinion on this game. But so far, the consensus is that Superstars is kind of a mixed bag. On the whole, the game is a lot of fun. It takes the physics engine of Sonic Mania and builds with it a more modern-styled game with a lot of interesting new zones. Superstars features a whole lot of fresh new ideas and mechanics, which puts it leagues above the recycled mess that was Sonic 4. But Superstars still suffers from what many Sonic games suffer from, a lack of polish and fine-tuning. The game's boss fights are a particular low point as they drag on for ages, and for most of that time you're just waiting for the game to actually let you attack the boss. Plus, most of this game's hidden secrets and rewards are built around the multiplayer mode, which, unfortunately, is a hot mess. It feels stapled together at the last minute, and it's lacking what polish the rest of Superstars does have. And unfortunately, if the multiplayer mode's no good, and if most of the game's secrets give you rewards for that multiplayer mode, then exploring the levels to find these secrets becomes kind of pointless. Sonic Superstars feels like a game with a whole lot of potential, and while quite a lot of that potential was reached, there's also a whole lot left on the table. In 7th, we have Sonic Frontiers, rated 3.83. Now, Sonic Frontiers is a really fun game that feels like it's held together with sticky tape and staples. The idea is to take Sonic and put him in an open world, a la Breath of the Wild. But while Breath of the Wild was built by a team of over 300 developers, Sonic Frontiers was made by about 60 people. That's a whole lot less, and so this game does have some issues. Pop-in of distant objects is something you're going to be constantly aware of playing Frontiers, and the classic style levels are mostly built out of reused assets from Sonic Generations. But at its core, running around this open space as Sonic, jumping on rails and bouncing off bounce pads is just a really fun way to spend your time. And with a little more refinement and with some more time in the oven, the next open world Sonic game could be a true masterpiece. 6th on the list is Sonic Adventure 1 with a score of 3.86. Now, Sonic Adventure was the game that changed everything for Sonic. After Sonic and Knuckles' release in 1994, Sega entered a kind of rut with Sonic. There were a handful of spin-off games released, but it wasn't until the release of the new Dreamcast console that the next mainline Sonic game hit store shelves, that being Sonic Adventure. For the first time, you could play Sonic in 3D and move him and a variety of his pals around a set of 3D levels. This was revolutionary for Sonic. Adventure has an adventurous, multi-part story that you can experience different parts of depending on which character you play as, with each one of those stories taking place simultaneously. It's ambitious. However, Sonic Adventure is absolutely a little rough around the edges. During cutscenes, the voice acting is drowned out by way too loud background music, while the on-screen characters flap their mouths open and shut in a truly bizarre manner. Sonic's controls, alongside the 3D camera system, can be a bit fiddly to get to grips with, and some of the characters are more fun to play as than others. But it's easy to overlook all of that, because this game is so much fun. It feels like Sonic Team finally hit their stride once more, at least for the time being. In 5th place is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with a score of 3.97. Now, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 may be the game where this Sonic phenomenon got its start, but Sonic 2 is the game that polished up the series and birthed some of its core game mechanics and characters. It's easy to forget that the Spin Dash, one of Sonic's most iconic moves, was nowhere to be found in Sonic 1. It came from Sonic 2. Miles Tails Prower, Sonic's loyalist of companions, also came from Sonic 2. Compared to the original Sonic the Hedgehog, this new game's pacing was tightened up, with 2 acts per zone instead of 3. And some of those zones are among the Sonic series' most memorable. Chemical Plant Zone, for instance, or how about Casino Night Zone? Even Sonic sprites got a noticeable upgrade for Sonic 2. Vast improvement over the first, says one person. The iconic duo begins, and a tightly paced masterpiece. In the 4th spot is Sonic Adventure 2, with a rating of 4.04. Now, in a lot of ways, Sonic Adventure 2 mirrors what the original Sonic 2 did almost a decade earlier, taking a solid foundation and perfecting it. Sonic Adventure 2 takes the basic formula of Sonic Adventure and improves upon almost every aspect of the game. It has one of the best, if not the very best, stories in the Sonic franchise. And while it features a multi-character approach a la Sonic Adventure 1, this time every single character's gameplay is really fun. Then there's City Escape, which, aside from Green Hill Zone, may well be the most iconic and memorable first level of any Sonic game ever. Some survey responses include great characters and mechanics, really tight controls, exciting levels, best story of the series, and loved the two storylines converging. Unfortunately, there's also a lot of responses along the lines of the last good Sonic game before the decline in quality. And yeah, after Sonic Adventure 2, the Sonic series entered a pretty rough period. But for this one moment in 2001, it seemed like Sonic was on top of the world. Number 3 is Sonic Generations with a score of 4.10. In 2011, with Sonic's 20th anniversary just over the horizon, Sega decided this series needed a celebration, a victory lap of a game that highlighted the very highest highs of this up and down franchise. And the result was Sonic Generations, a nostalgia-filled journey through the past, where Sonic, and the player as well, revisit some of the most beloved, fan-favorite stages from every main Sonic game to date. Stages like Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1, Chemical Plant Zone from Sonic 2, and City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2. But there is a twist, because in Generations, each zone has two versions, one played with classic 2D gameplay and one in 3D, and so the game features two versions of Sonic to match, classic and modern. Each revisited stage gets a fresh coat of paint that makes even the oldest of the returning levels feel new and exciting. The soundtrack is top-notch, the visuals are clean and stylish, it's a celebration of everything Sonic. Some viewer responses include fantastically blends nostalgia and design, polished and well-designed, and great mixture of gameplay. In second place, the runner-up is Sonic 3 and Knuckles, with a rating of 4.15. The Sonic game is so big, they had to split it in half. Yeah, so maybe counting Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles as one entry on the list gives these games a bit of a leg up. But at the same time, the games were always meant to be one big game, and the Sonic Origins Classic Collection features Sonic 3 and Knuckles in their combined form, and so that's what I'm going to do in this video too. And what a game we have here! Sonic 3 and Knuckles is truly the most ambitious, most story-rich, most fun and exciting of all the classic Mega Drive Sonic games. You get 3 characters to play with, Sonic, Tails and Knuckles, and each one controls in a unique and uniquely enjoyable way. Exploring these vast levels with each character to find secrets and hidden areas is a joy, especially considering just how excellent those levels are. You've got Angel Island Zone, Hydrocity, Carnival Night, Mushroom Hill, Sandopolis, and so many more. The Genesis magnum opus, writes one viewer. Amazing level aesthetics and soundtrack, says another. And finally, the best classic Sonic game. Which leaves just one more game. In first place, with a rating of 4.29, the very best Sonic game of all, according to you, is Sonic Mania. Yeah, you see, at the start of this video, I said that the Sonic series has been a roller coaster of quality. It's a common belief, and this video has seemingly proved that fact, as we've journeyed through the up and down history of this blue hedgehog and his video games. And so in 2017, after a string of unpopular Sonic games, Lost World and infamously Sonic Boom, I think a lot of Sonic fans had truly lost faith in Sega. At this point, Sonic's fans, thought many, could surely make a better Sonic game than Sega themselves. Enter Christian Whitehead and his motley crew of former Sonic fan game devs, who, after porting a number of Mega Drive-era Sonic games to mobile devices, got approval from Sega to make a brand new Sonic game in the style of the 90s classics. The result was Sonic Mania, the best Sonic game in over 20 years, and according to this survey, the best Sonic game full stop. Sonic Mania is made with so much affection for the Sonic series and so much polish throughout. For the first time in decades, Sonic's physics are a spot-on recreation of the Mega Drive games, something Sega themselves hadn't managed to do in a single modern Sonic game. Plus, Sonic gets a brand new move, the Drop Dash, a move so brilliant that Sega retrofitted it into the most recent re-releases of the Mega Drive games. Mania is made up of a mixture of creatively overhauled classic zones and brand new zones. The classic stages are great, they're full of creative twists and additions that make them feel brand new. But it's in the new zones that Mania is at its best. Studiopolis, Press Garden, Mirage Saloon, these new zones feel like they're even one step above the classic zones from Sonic 1, 2 and 3. Sonic Mania breathed new life into the Sonic series. It showed fans that Sonic could still be truly excellent. It's funny, if you describe the game to someone, a pixel art revisiting of Sonic 1, 2 and 3 with a few new zones added into the mix, well, that sounds like rubbish, like something cheaply made to bank on people's nostalgia. But that's not what Sonic Mania is at all. It's so obvious how much love went into this game. It's not just a look back at where Sonic started, it's also a vision for what the future of 2D Sonic, or even the entire Sonic series, could become one day. 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future. And there we have it. Those are the least and most popular Sonic games of all. Thank you so much for watching, and a huge thanks to everyone who took part in the survey. Obviously, I couldn't have made this video if people hadn't filled out the survey, so I'm very, very grateful to every single one of those people. Oh gosh, right, before I go, I want to talk a little bit about Patreon. I mean, I don't want to, I find it uncomfortable asking people for money, but I'm going to do that because it's kind of important. So, I've been running this YouTube channel for over 5 years, just a bit over 5 years now. I love it. I'm so lucky to get to do this for my job, to get to research games I care about and share interesting parts about them with people online and just reading the comments and everything. Yeah, it's just a joy to do. I enjoy it so much. But obviously it's a job, and so I also need to think about the financial side of things and supporting myself, and especially if I want to keep doing this for another 5 years, 10 years, finding other ways to support my channel financially alongside YouTube ad revenue is going to become more and more important. In the last few months, YouTube ad revenue has been a little up and down as well, and so promoting my Patreon more has been something that I think will be good for the long-term future of this channel. So why should you join? Well, obviously there's the part of it that's just like supporting Thomas Game Docs. I do this all by myself. I don't have any editors or other script writers or anything. It's all just me, and that can be quite a lot at times, even though I really enjoy it, but having more stable revenue coming in would allow me to invest in better software. It would let me upgrade this old PC that's just below the camera right now. But also there's perks in it for you people as well. So I've actually just launched a new tier on my Patreon page that's $5 a month, which grants you access to a monthly bonus video where I talk about something that I like and I think you guys will find interesting as well, but maybe isn't a great fit on this YouTube channel. So that's the tier I'd really recommend trying if you want to sign up to the Patreon page, just to even try for a month. Try watching 1 or 2 bonus videos and see if that's something you would like to be a part of going forward. I love making these videos and I'd love to continue doing that, and not having all my eggs in one basket, the YouTube ad revenue basket, would be healthy and helpful, and also would mean I'm not so stressed about money sometimes. I hope that if any of that has resonated with you, then you can go check it out at patreon.com/ThomasGameDocs. But either way, whether you sign up or not, thank you so much for watching my videos over the last 5 years. I feel like I'm being sentimental. And here's to even more time running this funny little YouTube channel. And before I go, a big thank you to my $10 patrons: Nix Level, ZH Cupcake, Michael Gunter, Daryl, Jero, La Little, Cyprian Eov, Joseph Maltby, Jim Gilsonen, Eli Birnbaum, and Evan Kinney. Right, See you later. Bye.